legendary beat, legendary beat, legendary beat.
I get together for my yard, we get big back away, they make me feel amazing.
Here at NMG, we are working very hard to ensure your favorite publications, Daily Nation, Business Daily, Taifa Leo and the East African are readily available. In a bid to support the efforts to prevent the transmission of COVID-19, NMG has ensured our staff, our distributors and their staff adhere to set guidelines. At our printing plant, all staff are required to wash their hands before entering the factory and must be wearing a mask. All workers either change their clothes on entering the factory or wear an overcoat. We are keeping doors open to avoid our staff touching door handles repeatedly. With our automated printing, contact with the newspaper is kept to a minimum, and at the packing process, the staff observes social distancing. Vehicles used to transport the newspapers are disinfected daily before the newspapers are loaded, and our delivery staff all wear masks and wash their hands regularly. Our vendors ensure that they sanitize every time they handle money and wear their masks at all times. NMG is proud to be able to safely meet your information needs. Stay safe, stay informed with our favorite NMG publications.
In this week's episode of Life Clinic, we hear of the untold stories of intersex community in Kenya. Then, a Senegalese copywriter opens up about an autoimmune disease that affects the spine. We look at the hidden dangers of black soot on our health.
Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. William Shakespeare. Registration for InterSwitch Spark Kenya 2.0. To switch a future, visit www.interswitchspark.com and register your best 6 Form 3 students for a chance to win 2.5 million Kenya shillings worth of university scholarships, including monthly stipends, and the bragging right as the best STEM student on InterSwitch Spark Kenya 2.0 Science Competition, powered by InterSwitch, transaction solutions you can depend on.
Akili, 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 akili. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Again. Achoo! Yay! You did it! Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs are not our friends. Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs. Germs, germs, germs are not your friends.
With DSTV Now, you open up a world of possibility where your entertainment is ready for you anytime and anywhere. To get connected, ask your parents to go to the App Store, hit download and log in.
Incredible. Incredible.
And while they're there, with DSTV's parental control feature, setting you up for the most fun and safest viewing around is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Amazing entertainment and learning, anywhere with DSTV.
Buy fresh mboga, vegetables, foodstuffs, meat products, bakery products, detergents, all clothing and footwear, books, board games, gym accessories, households and cookery online. Kindly visit tuskys.dpo.store to place an order and get delivered to your doorstep.
Wahenga walisema hakuna kazi ngumu na hakuna kazi rahisi. Watu kwa ground wakauliza, umejaribu mjengo? Take a moment and think about that. Kazi ya mjengo. The fundi, arguably the literal definition of a hard worker. Imagine building all these houses to perfection. What does it take to be a good fundi? Do they dream of having such houses? How selfless. Show me the best house in the country, then show me the person whose hands built it. Show me a better definition of unsung heroes. Every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Weekend Edition.
It's our birthday, and we're building what will be Africa's biggest digital classroom, investing in education for a better future across Africa.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
This is NTV.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on NTV at 1, the 17th day of May 2020. My name is Zainab Ismail. We do have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta had ordered the closure of the country's borders with Somalia and Tanzania to stem the further spread of the coronavirus, and that has taken a full effect. Now, we have Bernardo Juang at the Isebania border with Tanzania, where it's in Migori County. We also have Ahmed Maulid at the Kenya-Somalia border in Mandera, and we do also have Ouko Kusa, who is in Siaya County, where he's following up on a search for bodies of 5 people who drowned in River Zoya after their boat capsized yesterday afternoon. And also joining us live is Kennedy Muredi, who is with the Budget and Appropriations Committee Chairman in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah. So we cross over live, first of all, to Muredi, who will be giving us more details on the conversation he'll be having with Kimani Ichung'wah. Muredi.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Zainab, there in studio. And it is interesting times here in the country as political realignments are even being witnessed at this particular time. There is on one hand, the country is battling the pandemic that is the coronavirus, but also life seems to be getting back to normal as we also see there are other works that are going on, including political parties that are also trying to see how best they plan for 2022. One of the battles that is being touted as a titanic one. You remember that every time that we are looking at the possibility of a president exiting, then there is too much activity with regards to what surrounds there. But one of the most affected people, or one of the most affected is William Ruto, that is the deputy president, who has already said that he is going to be on the contest for 2022. Other people who have been saying that they are in this contest have not come out as clearly as he has been. And those who are on his side or his allies are even saying that they are targeted. And one of them who has been very vocal from Mount Kenya is Kimani Ichung'wah, the member of parliament for Kikuyu, who also sits in the budget committee as the chairperson. We will want to have a discussion with him with regards to where are they with regards to budget, and do you feel like you're threatened with the politics that is happening at this particular time?
Well, Kennedy, in regard to the budget process that is ongoing, as you know, Parliament is on a working recess now up to the end of this month. A working recess meaning that members have now retreated to their committees to work on the budget estimates. And as late as this Thursday, we had an engagement with the National Treasury. my committee and a number of chairs of the departmental committees, basically to just engage on the budget process and look at what we thought from the initial analysis that had been left out in the budget. And I'm happy that the National Treasury did come in to rectify some of the few things that we pointed out from the beginning that the National Treasury had left out in the budget. So that's an ongoing process. I am all geared up to finish the process if the opportunity is there to finish. Whether or not I'm worried because of what you people have been reporting, it's you in the media who have been reporting that there are attempts to remove House leadership, remove us from chairing committees. But that is a list of my concerns, Kennedy, I can tell you. I am more concerned now with what we need to do as a country in terms of the budget process to ensure that we mitigate on the suffering that our people are suffering now. I am more concerned about those old, harmless citizens in Kariobangi, in Ruai, who are suffering in this rain, and what is it that we can do as leaders to help them mitigate the suffering that they are undergoing.
There's a point that you've actually brought out, is that you've said if you're given the opportunity to finish, are there threats to actually remove you? Now that we saw even in the Senate there were those in the leadership, precisely the majority leader and the chief and the majority whip, who were actually de-whipped last week, and we even hear of murmurs of a probability of a parliamentary group meeting of the National Assembly members where you come out as a serious target with regards to this. Have you been faced with that? Because you've said rightly that if you're given the opportunity to finish your work.
I said if given the opportunity because, you know, I serve at the pleasure of the members of the committee as a committee chair. Unfortunately for me, or fortunately for me, I don't need a parliamentary group meeting to remove me. You only need members of Budget and Appropriations Committee. There has been an attempt before. There was an attempt last year. I think they managed to get 2 signatures. And that tells you it has nothing, and it would have nothing to do with my performance as chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Members of my committee have expressed their confidence in my leadership of the committee. In fact, I was surprised the other day to hear the leader of majority and also the leader of minority, John Buddy, say it on record in the House that since the 10th Parliament where they served, John Buddy said he served in the 10th Parliament under Elias Mbawe as the chair of the Budget Committee. In the 11th Parliament under Mutava Musimi. Aden Duale said the same thing, and John Buddy is still a member of my committee in the 12th Parliament. And they have said so far, I think they have seen the most reasonable and well-performing chair in the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And I think it's largely because I'm guided on what government policy is being pushed and how do we assist government to push their policies, at the same time provide meaningful oversight. Of course, we have stepped on a few toes here and there, and I have no apologies to make for that. I will tell you, for instance, when I declined and I moved an amendment to decline the payment of the Ruaraka land scandal, the 1.5 billion shillings, I did with reasons. If I was given another opportunity today, I would still decline the payment. We have declined others and stepped on wrong toes here and there. Therefore, those are really nothing to be concerned about. And I think my concern now is not on the politics. My concern now is on the suffering that the Kenyan people are undergoing now with COVID, with the rains wreaking havoc across the country. I am more concerned about those issues and how, as leaders, we should be mitigating. The 2022 politics, the William Ruto politics, that again should not be a concern today. It's astounding that people are spending time on William Ruto. And I'm happy that wherever he is, he's taking it in his stride and trusting in his God and working to help the people that he's helping, be it with food or all the other help I've seen him doing.
Now, you've brought out that aspect and the William Ruto aspect, is that those who have been very close to him have actually become serious targets in this purge. You are one of them, and you have in the past said that you are unapologetically supporting him. If push comes to shove, now that you're saying that you are, even if it was being targeted, it is not because of your performance, will you come to that point where you will say that, let me focus on my work and leave this politics of William Samoei Ruto aside?
Let me say this, Murithi. I have told you, even right now, my focus is on work. And over the last 3 years that I have chaired the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and maybe just for information, the Budget and Appropriations Committee term inevitably is coming to an end, I think, this September or October. Therefore, with removal or without removal, the term of the current Budget and Appropriations Committee, it goes for 3 years. So it's coming to an end. And
there you have it, Kennedy Mureithi having a conversation there with the Budget Appropriations Committee Chair of the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, on a number of issues that are affecting the country. We'll be getting more details later on in our subsequent bulletins. Now we cross over live to Siaya County, where our very own Oko Kusa has been following up on a search for bodies of 5 people who drowned in River Zoya after their boat capsized yesterday afternoon. Oko Kusa, what is the situation at this point? Have they been able to recover anybody so far?
Well, Zainab, nobody has been recovered since yesterday, and of course families of those who lost their loved ones in this tragedy are decrying what they are calling lack of government support in trying to search for the missing bodies. That was since yesterday. They are saying that they have not received any form of support from the government, and they have been camping here on the banks of River Zoya. This is called Sango, where we are. It's called Sango, and as you can see in the background, members of the families that lost their loved ones are camping here. According to Luo traditions, those who lose their loved ones whose loved ones have drowned in any water body must camp next to that water body until the bodies are retrieved, and that is what is going on here. They've been they pitched camp here since yesterday. That is around 2 when the tragedy happened. Remember, there were a total of 9 people in that ill-fated boat. A lot of, like 8 of them boarded the boat here at Sango, and we are made to understand that most of them were border operators who apply or who usually camp at a market known as Rabar, which is about 6 kilometers from here. So when they saw this particular boat, which was also on another search mission some time last week, a person or a resident but who does not belong here drowned on River Zoya, and members of his family hired a boat belonging to Marenga Beach Unit to help in searching for his body. So when the boat approached this part of Ugunja constituency, that is a place known as Calcada, where the boat was finally found, about 11 kilometers away from here, then it attracted attention of the residents who apparently hardly see engine-propelled boats in this area. So when that happened, the coxswain, we are made to understand, decided to give them a joyride. So a couple of residents here to take them on a boat ride on the lake, and they were paying 50 shillings per individual. But then it turned tragic when the boat hit a stone and overturned. Of course, we know that 5 died, 4 managed to survive, including the coxswain himself. Right now, I'm joined by one of the residents here by the name John Olum, who's going just to tell us briefly so far what is happening in terms of search and the rescue mission on those who have disappeared. Mzee, hebu tueleze tu kidogo, tangu jana mpaka leo mmewahi kupata mili ya wale watu walianguka kwa maji?
Sawa. Asante sana. Mimi kwa majina naitwa John Olum, ni mkaji wa Komenya locations, ambapo ni West Alego, kule sehemu za Nyalwanga area ambapo tunaishi hapo. Lakini kwa vile kitendo yenye litendeka hapa kuhusu hii mashua ambapo ilikuja hapa kutafuta mwili, ambapo hiyo mwili ilipotelea katika wiki 2 iliyopita, na watu walikuwa wametoka sehemu za Port Victoria, na ndio diposa watu wetu hao vijana wa area wajawahi kuona mashua aina hiyo, na ndivyo diposa walikuwa wanataka kuingia ndani ili kusikia starabu. Na kwa bahati mbaya, alafu hiyo mashua ilikuwa imeshika engine ikashika mawe ya propela ya chini, alafu ikapenduka na hao wakajiangukia ndani ya maji. Watu tano walizama ndani, ambapo mmoja kutoka.
Okay. Kwa sasa hebu tueleze tu kwa ufupi, kwa sasa mmepata usaidizi wote kutoka kwa serikali?
Usaidizi ambapo yenye tumepata kutoka kwa MCA wa West Alego, ambapo ni Judy ndiye ameleta usaidizi.
Usaidizi aina gani mnatafuta?
Ambapo usaidizi ambapo yenye tunatafuta, ambapo tungeomba county government ya Rasanga pamoja na county pamoja na serikali kuu tulikuwa tunataka ikiwezekana watuletee divers wawili kutoka kwa serikali juu huwa tunakatwa pesa zetu ya ushuru za kufanya kazi kama hiyo, na kuna pesa ambapo inatengwa ambapo huwa inatengwa kwa kazi kama aina hiyo. Hata kwa dakika hii ambapo tulikuwa tukiteremuka, mtu mmoja ilionekana juu ya maji na hakuna njia yoyote ambapo tunaweza kufanya nini kumtoa ndani ya maji, na sababu kukosa vyombo ama mashini ambapo tunaweza kukimbilia na tumtoe ndani ya maji. Hatuwezi kumtoa kienyeji hivyo na hii maji vile iko mingi hivyo.
Well, Zainab, that is John Olum, who is one of the residents here, just making his appeal to the government to provide divers and even a motorized boat that can help with the search for the missing bodies. Remember, 5 bodies are still missing, and of course their families, as I mentioned, they are camping here waiting for that moment when they'll be retrieved. So that is what is happening here. We'll be keeping our viewers updated in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Zainab.
All right, Okukusa there in Siaya County, and of course we'll be keeping also a very close eye on that rescue mission. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta's order to close the country's borders with Somalia and Tanzania to stem the further spread of the coronavirus has definitely taken full effect. And we do have our very own Ahmed Maulid, who is at the Kenya-Somalia border in Mandera County, just taking a look at the situation. Now, Ahmed, what exactly is happening, and has this has this order taken full effect at this point in Mandera?
Thank you, Zainab. As you said, we are joining live at the border, at the Kenyan border, Somalia here. The difference between the Kenyan and Tanzanian border is that Somalia border has been closed for the last 10 years, and the government only used to allow essential services such as foodstuff and other medical, maybe for those on the other side, to come in and seek here in Mandera County. That today has been ended, and officially, behind, as you can see me, behind me, that door is the exit entry point of the Kenyan-Somalia border, and it has remained that way for the last 10 years. But the latest move by the President directive has made even tougher for the Kenyan security to implement in this county. I'm now joined by the Mandera OCS border and at the Kenyan border, Somalia, Mr. Usman. The President has issued a new directive, as we know that for the last 10 years, Kenyan. What does the new directive change?
The new directive has made a lot of activities that has been taken, action has been taken. Our Mandera County Security Team has given me instructions as the OC Mandera border to instill that no movement in and out all over Mandera and towards Bulhawa, that is Somalia. And as you can see, here on my right side is the KRA warehouse, where have been around 15 donkey carts transporting charcoal from Bulhawa town, the neighboring town, to Mandera, has been confiscated, has been intercepted, I mean.
So which means the directive, the executive directive have been implemented?
It has been implemented to the latter, and no stone has been left unturned.
Yes, that was Mandera OCS border, Mr. Usman Mohammed, who was explaining to us how the executive directive have been implemented here in Mandera County. As earlier said, the border has been closed, but now it has been tightened further. Zainab?
All right, Ahmed Maulid there at the Kenya-Somalia border in Mandera, just taking a look at the situation there. We will be joining Bernardo Juang, who is also in Esebania border point, where the border, it is the border between Kenya and Tanzania, and they'll be giving us some more details of what the situation is like right there. Now, 5 Al-Shabaab militants have been killed in a failed attack at a Somali security force camp in Belize Kokani in Somalia. The Kenya Defence Forces and the SSF contained the situation and averted casualty on the part of the AMISOM teams. Now, KDF spokesperson Colonel Zipporah Kioko, in a statement to newsrooms, says that the half-past midnight attack on the 16th of May was foiled via a well-coordinated response from a special platoon of the KDF, which managed to repulse the 20 attackers who approached the SSF camp from 3 different directions. 5 AK-47 rifles were recovered from the failed attackers after the gunfight along the several rounds of ammunition. The Kiambu County government has temporarily closed Madaraka Market alongside other markets in Thika after COVID-19 cases were reported in the area. The traders have, however, been allowed to spread their wares along the roads and are required to keep the 2-meter distance.
Madaraka Market in Thika town has been temporarily closed after 2 COVID-19 cases were reported in the area. This is to allow the county government to disinfect the market together with other markets around the area.
We around the national government shall fumigate this market and Madaraka and other markets around. Then we allow our traders, because they need their livelihood, to spread their wares along the road.
The 2 patients who tested positive are said to have come from Eastleigh area in Nairobi and had interacted with residents and traders in the market.
Tumejaribu kuzingatia usafi, kusanitize tumejaribu kukaa social distance. Sasa hatukuwa na lingine ila tu kutia mwili na kutoka nje. Ndio unaona hata tumetoa vitu vyetu nje.
However, the over 5,000 traders who operate at the market say there was no notice of closure and are afraid perishable goods will waste away.
Sisi kama watu wa soko tungefurahia kama viongozi wangekuwa wanakuja kama shida limetokea, wanakuja wanatueleza ya kwamba kuna shida hii na hii na hii. Kwa hivyo tokeni kama wanataka kupiga dawa, tokeni ndio tupige dawa. Sasa sisi chenye tumekuwa tukipata ni askari.
Tutakuja tutandikwe kwanza, tufukuzwe. Unaona? Hiyo ni vizuri. Mama kama mimi nikikimbia nikianguka, nivunjike, nitasaidiwa ni nani?
The county government has, however, promised to distribute masks to the residents, especially the traders. Ruth Sarmoi, NTV.
The public health officials in Isiolo County have intensified the search for 9 people who are believed to have traveled from Isiolo to Garbatula in a bus carrying over 40 passengers, one of whom turned out to be positive of COVID-19, the only case in the county. The group went missing soon after the announcement and have since switched off their phones as authorities try to trace them for testing and possible quarantine. Isiolo Governor Dr. Mohammed Kuti says they have the identities of the individuals, 4 of whom are believed to be in Isiolo town, while others are scattered within the county. Governor Kuti says 23 others who are on the bus from Isiolo have already been identified and placed under self-quarantine in various locations. The medical team has collected 37 samples from 48 people currently on quarantine and took them to Camry for testing.
Pia tuko na watu ambao tumeweka quarantine ambao hawako kwa hiyo bus, ambao 2 wako self quarantine hapa Isiolo, 7 kule Marti, na kwa hivyo jumla tuko na watu 96 sahi ambao wako quarantine. Kwa hivyo na wale sasa 33 wako kwa hii namba, result yao imekuwa negative, wataenda nyumbani. Tuliweza kuchukua samples kutoka familia, kutoka contacts wale walikuja, waliweza kuwa karibu na huyo mgonjwa, na tulipeleka samples 37. Majibu ilirudi jana ya sample 33. Hizo sample 33 yote imekuwa negative. Na tunashukuru Mungu, iko test 4 imebaki, ambaye tunaongoja majibu bado kwa sababu test ni nyingi, kwa hivyo hawangeweza kumaliza yote.
All right, let's take a very quick breather here on NTV at 1. We still have a lot more we've lined up for you. Stay with us.
Wajua wanasema food has memory and those who nourish you are never forgotten. Unakumbuka the auntie who made sure you shibat? We jamaa wa nyama, ule anakuwekea nyama poa ya choma. The dere, happy to share your takeaway. Na huyo mama wa chai, ule ana warm your lunch before you ata uliza. Your mama mboga, ule anakuongezea ata nyanya. Ule waiter kusava haraka haraka. na ule mandazi lady, ule anakuwekea ndao moja ya baadaye, na your boda rider, ule jamaa kufikisha haraka. Now this is the time to let them know they are not forgotten. This is the time to make sure every table in Kenya has food on it. The points on your phone can be food in their home. When you sit with a plate of food today, pledge to stand for someone who has put food before you. Dial *126# to transfer your bonga points now so they can buy food and necessities at any outlet with a Lipa na M-Pesa till.
Safaricom is for you.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
This year we are celebrating Donkey Day at a very sad time. And while there are debates that COVID-19 may have originated from wildlife consumption, we must reassess how we interact and live with animals. Donkeys will remain the asset that enable communities to bounce back. It's a very, very important animal that we need to care for.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. Now, recovering alcoholics in Madhioya constituency have a reason to smile after they were rescued from consuming sanitizers as a replacement to alcohol. The youth have now been set up in a group that will engage in agricultural activities to keep busy and earn a living. Their plight was first highlighted here on NTV. NTV's Martin Moura, who has more details on their changing fortunes. Take a look.
A fresh new start for these young men. After weeks of resorting to taking sanitizers to quench their thirst for the now hard to come by alcohol, they are ready to try something else, something more productive. But first they have to undergo medical tests to ensure that they have not been adversely affected by the sanitizers they have imbibed.
Sisi wale walikuwa wanakunywa sanitizer tumebadilika sasa.
Part of that reform process will include them learning new skills. And to set them off on this new journey, they received the seeds of their new venture. And now they will be part of a youth group spreading the gospel of an alcohol abuse-free society.
Tawaambia waachana na kunywa hiyo maneno ya sanitizer. Hata hiyo pombe ingine, hata kukifunguliwa hiyo vilabu, waachana na pombe. Tufanye kazi.
Charles Mwangi, a health practitioner, affirms the dangers of taking sanitizer.
We have taken blood samples, we'll take them to the lab. We test. Once the results are out, we will communicate to the relevant authority or to the concerned person.
The youth had been suffering from the withdrawal syndrome after years of alcoholism. Now they will have support as they try to beat the withdrawal symptoms that come with the journey to recovery.
I want to start a journey with them. I want to rehabilitate them. I want to make sure that I empower them so that in the next few years, these 5 young men here will be a good example to those people who are actually swallowed into drunkenness and drug abuse.
Kenyans were also asked to continue observing the laid-down regulation by the government in effort to fight COVID-19.
The youths have vowed to stop taking sanitizers. Instead, they'll be taking milk when the craving for alcohol strikes. Martin Mora, NTV, Murang'a County.
Meanwhile, one person has died and another left nursing serious wounds after being attacked by a marauding hyena last evening in Voi, Taita Taveta County. The 90-year-old woman perished during the attack before the hyena was killed by the locals. NTV's Bill Otieno has more.
The Saturday evening attack left many residents of Kajire in a shock as they watched the body of the woman on the ground lifeless. She was attacked by a marauding hyena believed to have come from Savo East National Park at dusk.
Nimeshtuka sana manake kisa hiki kimetokea hatujawahi ona tangu tuzaliwe. Mimi kama umri wangu vile ndivyo. Nimeshangaa sana, huyu kama akiwa jirani wangu na nyanyangu. Nimeshtuka sana, sijawahi ona.
Si majirani hapa. Niliposikia tulikuwa mbali tukasikia ndio. Sasa ile harakati kukimbia kufika hapa. Kutoa jamaa anaitwa Bwangi ndio amemshikilia hiyo ofisi chini. Sawa kwa harakati ya kumshikilia vile. Sasa tulipanic manake tukiangalia tuelewe ni yeye ameshikwa ama ndo vipi.
The hyena was seen drinking water in the compound before pouncing on the old woman as she was preparing meal for that evening. Minutes later, it pounced on a neighbor who was rushing to rescue the deceased but managed to kill it.
Namsindikiza dadangu huko. Alafu nikaona kuna maji pale nyuma ya nyumba kwa drum. Watoto wa kakangu akaja. Ngasema hata drum ile limetobolewa. Sijui ni nini. Akasema leta tochi. Wakaleta ile tochi ya rununu. Nikamwambia hii haionyeshi vizuri, tutataka tochi lingine. Sasa ikaanza kutufuata, ile ofisi ikaanza kutufuata. Nikamwambia mama ingia kwa nyumba. Sasa mimi nilipoingia kwa nyumba nilikuwa nikikemea katika jina la Yesu, nikaanza kuomba. Nilipoomba hao watoto wadogo wanapiga nduru. Wewe kumbe yule mtoto mwingine, yule mwanaume mwingine alikuwa anapita. Aliposikia watu wakipiga nduru akaja akafuatwa na yeye pia.
The Kenya Wildlife Service took the body of the hyena for forensic analysis at the body of the woman taken to Moi Referral Hospital in Voi. The family of the deceased are now calling upon the government to give a permanent solution to human-wildlife conflict in this area. Bulletin NTV in Kajire, Taita Taveta.
And the Council of Governors Agriculture Chairman and the Tharaka-Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki says there is a risk of more Kenyans facing starvation in the coming days as most Kenyans can no longer buy basic commodities in the markets. Now, speaking when he received food donations from Broadway's millers, Governor Njuki, who was accompanied by Maara constituency Member of Parliament Kareke Mbuki, said an analysis shows most families are having at most a meal a day or none for lack of funds to access the foodstuff as the effects of the coronavirus continue to bite. Njuki, who reiterated the county government's and the national government's efforts to make available food, said there were coordinated efforts to use a food security war room that checks availability and pricing of food in different counties with the aim of making food available at all times.
Ukiona kwa soko demand ya chakula imepungua, ni kumaanisha wale kuna familia mingi ambayo hazijiwezi. Hawezi afford kununua chakula. Hao ndio tunafaa sasa kama serikali kuangalia, isije kakuwa kuna mtu ataangamia kwa sababu chakula hawezi afford na kwa shamba ana. We must be more vigilant to ensure that nobody suffers by dying out of starvation in Kenya at the moment. We must look out for each other.
This disease is not about to go tomorrow or the day after, but to continue living. And the most important thing is for us to find ways of continuing to live together, maintaining the social protocols which are given out by the Ministry of Health, go back to work, but still maintaining all the requirements which are really needed, and we will continue doing well.
All right, and in stories making headlines in the sports world, Bayern Munich restart their charge for an 8th straight Bundesliga title at Union Berlin this afternoon amid doubts the Bavarian Giants will be able to last the distance after a 2-month hiatus. Hansi Flick's side hold a 1-point lead at the top of the league heading into their trip to the German capital, which has been the scene of some impressive upsets thanks to promoted Union's form at their stadium. Union have twice shocked the league leaders this season, beating Borussia Dortmund 3-1 in August and turning out 2-0 victors over Borussia Mönchengladbach 3 months later. The Bundesliga is the first major league in Europe to return to action since the coronavirus brought football to a halt 2 months ago. All right, and that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. We will be bringing you all the latest information and updates later on in our subsequent bulletins, but you also want to stay tuned for the daily briefing on the state of COVID-19 in the country from the Ministry of Health here at NTV. My name is Zainab Ismail. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.
This is NTV.
With DSTV Now, you open up a world of possibility where your entertainment is ready for you anytime and anywhere. To get connected, ask your parents to go to the App Store, hit download and log in.
Incredible, incredible.
And while they're there, with DSTV's parental control feature, setting you up for the most fun and safest viewing around is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Amazing entertainment and learning, anywhere with DSTV.
Basic protective measures as guided by the World Health Organization. Clean hands frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Hello and welcome to TTTT. I hope you had a great week. My name is Amina Abdi Rabar. Let's get started by finding out exactly which stories were trending this week. Nigoge. A chief has been caught drunk while on duty. The love for the brown bottle just couldn't wait. A woman who allegedly killed her boyfriend after stabbing him 3 times during a domestic fight in their house in Umoja was also a big story. A very sad state of affairs.
Na huyu mtoto anaitwa Derek Ndongo na ni mtoto wangu. Huyu mtoto nimemsomesha akamaliza kusoma hata form 4.
Waswahili husema uchungu wa mwanae ajuaye ni mzazi. Woman gives account of how her son was stubborn before he met his death. Sijui Tanzania are economical with their corona information. Just why are they hiding it? Find out from the panel. Welcome, Kawaida, to the Trend Live is our Twitter handle. The hashtag is TTTT. That's how you tell me what you think about any of the topics that we touch on the show. And I can't do it alone, so I've got Anita and Butita on the show tonight. Hey, guys. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Yeah.
Oh, Butita, I hope your data, I hope your internet is stable rather on the show.
You tell me. Mnanionaje? Unaona viklia. Mkiona nimeenda offline.
You know your screen has been frozen.
Amina?
Yeah.
Ukiona nimeenda offline si internet ni stima.
Kwani unaishi wapi?
I know, right?
Okay, I don't know what's happening in Runda actually. Like after every 15 minutes hatuna stima. Like I've been trying to find out the solution. Ndio nisaidie watu.
Okay, sawa. Also, I think, there's something wrong with your screen, but as we try to fix that, listen, have you ever imagined a mother being at peace with the death of her son? Well, a video of a mother confessing that her son, who was lynched by a mob in Kayole, was indeed a criminal. The video has caused a stir and heated debate amongst Kenyans.
Na huyu mtoto anaitwa Derek Ndongo na ni mtoto wangu. Huyu mtoto nimemsomesha akamaliza kusoma hata form 4. Venye alimaliza kusoma form 4 nikampeleka driving. Akamaliza driving. Kumaliza driving nikamwambia nimwekee kazi ya duka. Akakataa. Nikamwambia nimwekee electronics. Akakataa. Nikamwambia waendeange makaa Busia na huyu anti yake. Akakataa. Namwambia ingie mjengo juu niko na watu wa kazi huko wanashinda wakijenga. Anakataa na niambia yeye hawezi fanya kazi mzito na hawezi fanya kazi ya mjengo. Mimi mwenyewe kuna wakati aliletwa kama ameibia mtu. Mimi mwenyewe nikaita polisi wakamshika na akapelekwa ndani. Kupelekwa ndani akakaa miezi 3. Miezi 3 nikakuja nikabembelezwa na manko zake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she just, goes on to just say how troubled he was, and, she wasn't surprised. She was very sad indeed. But, sometimes watoto wanafikisha mzazi hapo mpaka anafika tu anasema, you know what? Nilikuwa tu nasikia wewe tu ushanichokesha. And I don't know if any one of you had a chance to see this story or has even ever witnessed something like this before. Anita? What are your thoughts on that story?
I saw the story, and to be very honest, I have never seen anything like it, because you know how usually moms will live and die and defend their children to their death. Like a mother will know exactly what the children are doing, but the mom will say, no, this kid could not possibly, and they'll find an excuse around it. So I was actually surprised by how she reacted to the situation. I completely respect that as well. And I mean, it's sad, parents raise children and you hope for the best for them and you hope they're going to turn out a certain way. You do your best, and then you hope that they're just going to learn from the lessons you've brought them up in.
Niliona hiyo video ya mzazi akilia, and I felt like it's so painful. Saa ingine vijana wajuangi, unaona mzazi ameraise mtoi kama mtoi amefika karibu 18 years, anaelekea 20 years huko hivyo, alafu anakuwa mwizi. Unajua ana waste hiyo miaka yote yenye parent amekuwa anatekea try kumuonyesha the way. So sangine inakuwa ni painful to the family. If you are a youth out there, crime does not pay, and sometimes think about your people, think about your family. Like what are you going to leave behind? Unaenda kujiingiza kwa crime, utawacha wakilialia wakishindwa waliwesti period yote waliraise mwizi ama ni nini wase.
Yeah, that
so
is
it was painful kuona mzazi akilia.
Yeah, but you're right. But and also, a mother's love is, unconditional. It's true. She will be the last person to ever turn on you. In most cases, usually that's what we see. But may his soul rest in peace. Now, there's also another story. It's a very unfortunate story as well. A 29-year-old woman who allegedly killed her boyfriend after stabbing him 3 times during a domestic fight in their house in Umo. She is allegedly, she's alleged to have stabbed Okello following a domestic quarrel. We have the clip. We can take a look. All right, so what do you guys make of that story? Butita, let me start with you.
Violence in whatever form should not be tolerated at all. And it was sad, anasema mimi nilimrushia tu kikombe. As in, pia hiyo ingemuumiza. Hiyo kitu anasema alirusha tu pia ingemuumiza. So whichever way, kweni dem kwa chali, kweni chali kwa dem, violence, domestic violence, manze.
Anita?
Should not be tolerated at all.
I'm still trying to figure out what type of a cup this was. because the injuries this man had did not necessarily go with the story. But then again, I believe in the theory of you are innocent until you're proven guilty. So there's only so much we can say, because whatever happens between two people, you never know. None of us were there. It's what we've heard and it's what we've seen. But I do agree with Butita 10,000%. Violence of any shape, form, or kind should never be tolerated. It doesn't matter if you're throwing a cup, a remote control, a carpet. Just don't do it in the first place. You know, just go, just walk out, take a breather. I don't know, because I don't know, harming someone because you are hurt or aggrieved in any shape, way, or form should never even remotely cross your mind. So it's very unfortunate this situation actually took place.
Yeah.
Hata mimi sasa hata imenifundisha nikienda kubai kikombe na make sure nabai kitu kaya plastic.
That's what I was saying. When I saw that story, I was like, what kind of cup was this? You know,
First of all, let me ask you,
in all sorts of incredible designs. I was like, maybe it had like three sharp whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
wow.
we can't speak because we were not physically present to actually say what, just have our 2 cents. But anyway, just violence of any shape, form, or kind. And like Amina said, during these COVID times, people are stuck together, and maybe they've not gotten used to spending that much time together. Yeah. You may be tired of your person at this point.
Just seeing them.
Demarcate the house. Go to let everyone have their side of the house. You know, like don't let your aggrieved situation make you do anything to harm somebody else. It's never ever that serious.
Anita, for people to be more creative, like mkiamka asubuhi kila mtu anaenda kwa room different, ama nje ikifika 4 jioni mnarudi. Ikae mnaendaka mkirudi.
Let's be a bit creative. That is true. One of them goes and uses one room as an office, the other uses the other one as an office. They meet in the evening.
Yeah, you meet during lunch or something. I don't know. Make it work. Make it work. Okay, so now let's talk about landlords. 10 families sleeping in the cold after a landlord removes doors and windows from their houses. Where did our benevolence go to? I don't know. I don't know. Take a look. Why do these things take place at night? Why so inhumane? You know what I mean? They have children. Where do they go? Where do they sleep? I mean, I do understand it's a business. What are your thoughts on this story?
I've never understood how humans can be so inhumane, or how they can even choose to. How do you do this? And especially during this time when everybody knows that everybody in the world is suffering, or at least majority of the people in the world are suffering right now. Like the situation is not like anything it has ever been before. But even if not for COVID, how do you just rock up to even if whatever the reason being? These people have families, they have kids. You break the doors, you break the windows, you leave no security there, so their things are robbed. This is people's livelihoods. How do you go to bed at night knowing that you did this? I really hope that this individual who's responsible for this sees no peace, because this is it's cruel.
It is a business, but it's a family at the end of the day. Where you know, why would you be okay with that, Butita?
How do you sleep at night?
And nilikuwa naona sai situation imekuwa mbaya for everyone. Yes, landlord anaweza sema kwa biashara, but ukiangalia humanity manze, unaweza sikizana na mtu na understand watu wengi si ati wamekata kulipa. Kuna watu hiyo pesa hawana for now. Kuna watu wampoteza majob nini. So sikizaneni na msee, leo ni wewe, leo ni yeye, kesho ni wewe. Alafu kuna there is rent tribunal in Kenya. I think role yao ni kuangalia vitu kama hizi zisikuwe zinafanyika. I don't know why I've never seen kesi yote ikipelekwa huko iweze kusolviwa, because there is a tribunal that is there to handle such issues, but it is what it is.
It's very unfortunate. I also feel the same way when I saw the demolitions that were taking place the other day, and thousands of families also left homeless. It was the same exact thing. Where do they go? You know, it's raining every day, cats and dogs, and you can imagine that there are thousands of families out there. So help where you can. All right, so just checking some of your tweets via the hashtag TTTT, that is at the Trend Live. Billy the Sheep says, I'm watching the show from Eldoret, enjoying it. Felix Omoyo says, hey, Amina, watching from South Coast to Kunda as I enjoy the show. Rolex Mohoro says, Amina unaka Alibaba. That was actually my goal. It was my inspo. I hope I nailed it. Kelgaza the Doctor says, Nakuru is tuned in. We're always watching the Trend. Kellen Jaroga says, I'm watching from Embakasi. People sound healthy. Yes, we are. Alhamdulillah. Japeto says, ati next time butita tano vikombe vya plastic. Anasema itabidi. Gathu from All Kalau says, I'm always watching from All Kalau. Nyandarua County is in. Then there's the King Presley Dennis who says, I'm streaming TTTT on NTV Kenya from my penthouse. And the story about the lady stabbing the boyfriend was sad. Currently, the GBV is increasing and we need a quick fix. All right, so now this story was also one that caused a lot of fodder on WhatsApp groups and, of course, ended up trending on Twitter. A video that emerged of a chief who was caught drunk while on duty. The mask wasn't enough to hide his state of drunkenness. Take a look at this.
Kuja, tunataka kujua saa hii umekunywa wapi. Hebu chukua hiyo video vizuri. Itume kwa kameme. Chukua vizuri. Nigonge. Siwani mlevi saa hii bwana. Chukua vizuri.
Wewe ni chief unafaa kuwa ukitulinda.
Chief na kwa yana wapatie Qur'ani batikanywa kunywa wangu. Wewe gau. Nigonge kidogo hivyo.
In this world where everyone has a phone, it is so hard for anything to pass anyone by. Anita, thoughts on day drinking? I don't know.
I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world, maybe where the guy, that's how he was reasoning. But anyway, on a serious note though, yeah, these days, if you're going to decide to do something that you should not be doing, I would suggest you just do it in the comfort of your own home.
Yep.
And surely it was time to work. I mean, Kenyans already feel very disgruntled because there's a lot of people who have been given positions anywhere from all the way high up, all the way down to a chief. And they feel like, listen, you're here to protect us and you're required to do certain things at certain times. So when you're caught doing what you're not supposed to be doing, Kenyans actually get very aggravated, which is completely understandable. Hey, that man saw a long afternoon. The way, you know that thing where when you've come from the hurry, you just want to, it's feel good times in your head. You just want to get your food, you want to go home, you want to take a nap. Kidogo, there's a guy coming, attacking you with your own stick. You're being told to look at the camera. There's a guy busy touching your chest. There's somebody trying to reach into your jacket.
All that with a hangover. It's too much. Okay.
Like, this is in the sekundefu.
I can imagine. And then, because it was Nduthi guys. And those Nduthi guys, they just multiply. Have you ever seen any incident happen? You find one Nduthi guy, that's it. They're 2 million in 5 minutes. Yes, Butita?
Yeah. Chief amezoea kushika watu, leo zimemshika. Unajua saa ingine ukiwa mtu wa serikali, watu wanakuanga wamengoja kale ka chance watapita na wewe. So ukiwapatia hiyo chance, shauri yako. But mimi nilijua vitu zimeharibika vile nilisikia chief wana distribute sanitizer na iko na alcohol. Unajua kuna watu pia wanakuwa tempted kufanya vitu baya.
Actually, that is so true. I know you say that as a joke, but I was being told that,
iko hata kwa news, silikuwa kwa NTV kuna watu walikunywa sanitizer huko.
Well, I mean, I did check if it was factual or not, but if you saw it on NTV, then definitely it was a true story.
It is a news feature. We aired that. People are drinking sanitizer. Actually, they are being cautioned. Wakasema watakunywa mpaka baa zifunguliwe. So najiambia, chief anaweza kuwa ameona idea kwa watu huko.
I know, but it's true though. The sanitizer thing is an actual problem that people are facing, especially if you are, you struggled with alcohol before. Yeah, it's just how, and then he's still in his uniform. Wow, people were just so mad, and the video just went on and on and on. I wonder how mad you were when you saw this video of President Trump, who at this point I think there's very, very little he does that sort of shocks or surprises anyone. So now he was at a press conference.
Alichukua sheria mkononi.
Literally. That's a good way to put it. Literally.
So now there was a video that he was at a press conference. He was being asked a question, and he either didn't like the question or he didn't have a proper response and he decided, you know what, this is what I will work with. So just take a look and then we'll talk.
Said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead.
All right, so now, oh, there she goes. She was supposed to ask her question. He said, no, you took too long to ask your question.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the young lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague finish,
Okay.
but can I ask you
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And that's it. He decided it's over, it is done, and he left the building. Dun, dun. Butita, msichana anakufurahisha?
Unajua huyu Miguna wa Amerika hunifundisha vitu mingi sana. Kuna vile siji ni kama yeye usahau yeye ni president. Unajua vile ma president kawaida wanakuwa kwa vegoja ni PR. Kuwa mtu mzuri, jibu swali vizuri. Yaani yeye alishamuanga yeye. President ni nyinyi, yeye atakuwa yeye.
Atacheza kaa yeye. Oh my God.
Ajaligi hizo stories zingine za serikali PR, mheshimiwa unajua unafaa kuongea vizuri.
He's like, no, this is how I feel, this is how I feel right now. Anita?
I honestly feel like Trump probably still thinks running
the
America
like
is
running his business.
It's not just another edition of The Apprentice, and he's the boss and he can say whatever he wants and do whatever he wants.
Technically, he is.
I have never seen anyone defy all protocol. Have you ever heard of the term "you do not care"? You know, the times when I look at the press conferences or I see the stories, and I'm like, you know, there's somebody somewhere who can actually say this is their president. We're not actually doing too badly. I mean, surely, how is your president that guy? Like, he's that guy. I have never, I don't know. You know, I saw this press conference and can you imagine being his, part of his advisors? Can you imagine the stress, the blood pressure, the acidity that you're constantly going through because you don't know what this guy is going to do.
You wonder what your job is.
This guy goes for a press conference and just defies whatever was written down and decides to come up with his own ideas of how diseases work, about how he should treat people, about what he should say.
He disbands what he wants to disband.
And he's the president. And I wouldn't be surprised if they vote him in one more time. I would not be surprised.
They will. Amina.
It's just...
Unakumbuka kuna hii time ya Chinese virus. Time yenye alisema time yenye aliita corona Chinese virus. Alafu journalist anamwambia but you can't say that. Where did it come from? It's Chinese, it's from there, it's theirs. Yani hata haezi apologize.
No, the one that normally amuses me is when he has said something and then somebody asks him during the next press conference and then he says, he said, I never
can change
that.
He changes.
Anachechingi lakini the same thing.
Whether you have a
and
video
there's a clip of him saying it,
and
he says he didn't say it.
Yeah, whether you have a video to prove it, the audio.
Can you imagine dating such a person? I'd be so stressed.
Yeah, it would be quite
those are the people you need to date now.
Why?
Men like that have nice hearts. Royal, wacha nikwambie. Ukiona mwanaume nje, ukiona mwanaume amechanganikiwa nje, ndani ya roho ni mtu mzuri. Ukiona mwanaume nje ni mtu mzuri. Hapo ndani.
All right, Melania doesn't seem too happy, but I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much, Butita. Thank you so much, Anita, for taking time and kicking it with us.
Thank you for having us. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
so now at 10 p.m., I will be hosting CS Amina Mohammed. Looking forward to that. Sami Doe will be checking in. Plus, we have comedian
Amina will be hosting Amina.
Yes, it's going to be. It's an Amina thing. It's an
Amina
affair.
You know, when Amina Mohammed got the position, guys were congratulating Amina on Twitter.
They did.
They were telling her
interviews. I never told you.
I mean, like what about
crazy?
She was like, what are you
In fact, Amina alikuwa anafikiria amenominatiwa mpaka akaconfirm akaona yenyewe si yeye.
I knew it was insane one time when I was called by the BBC for an interview, and I was like, they were asking me something about the border, and I'm like, you want me to give you? Oh, that was a crazy day.
This is NTV.